disinterested in the water.
Bill Gates is very interested in your water while everyone's distracted with indictments and celebrity BS. Bill Gates, BlackRock, and Nestle just quietly teamed up. Yes, Nestle. Same company whose chairman literally said water isn't a human right. And
Not a
now
human
they're
right.
making moves to own it. This isn't speculation. It's already happening.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do. Let me break it down for you guys. Talk about the most scarce and creepy videos that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
There's some crazy things happening in the world right now that you've probably missed. Investopedia put out a new study saying that the American dream now costs over $5 million over a lifetime. With over $1.6 million in retirement, $900,000 for buying new cars. That's dumb. 2 kids plus college, $876,000. Owning a home is nearly $1 million over the lifetime. And healthcare is $500,000. Because of course. Feels good to be an American, doesn't it? Chuck Norris hiked a 10,000-foot mountain at 85 years old. You know what? That's actually not crazy. He's Chuck Norris, of course. Can't believe I put that in here. There was a baby born in Brazil holding the IUD from the mother in his hand. IUDs are 99% effective, so bro is just like, I'm a part of the 1%. Spotify just deleted 75 million AI-generated tracks on their platform.
She's stretching. It's like he's made out of plastic, bro. It's plastic, man. I don't see nothing. I forgot what they're called. That picture haunted?
Get it!
Looky here. This is a medallion, also called a galvanic battery. A specific combination of 7 metals. I'm pretty sure that's what they're wearing. See, I got this to experiment, and I learned that it charges you even more when it is in salt water or when you perspire. So I was going to encase it into a sweatband. Then I remembered these guys. What if that's what they were doing? They had these on certain parts of their body, just like those armaments. These are armbands at different parts of their meridian body. See, our body is made of this energetic pathway, and different crystals and metals affect it. And what if they were using this for health and not for teleportation like I thought? That's still possible. I'm gonna go work up a sweat, put this on, and see what happens.
Here's the red pill truth about ancient America and how it connects directly to the flat earth realm. Ancient America, the forgotten center of the flat earth realm. Atlantis, sacred energy grids, and the realm they erased. 1. America was Atlantis, not a lost island, but the central realm. Ancient America was not discovered in 1492, it was already the crown jewel of the realm. Before the global reset, America was Atlantis, an advanced, sacred civilization aligned with source frequency, energy technology, and divine laws. Atlantis didn't sink, it was covered, buried, rewritten, and rebranded. Why do you think every major empire tried to control America? Because it's not just land, it's the spiritual heart of the realm. 2. America is near the center of the realm map. The flat earth realm has a layout. Center, Mount Meru, North Pole. Inner lands, where we live, America is one of the sacred lands closest to the center. Outer ice wall, Antarctica, not a continent, but a barrier. Outer lands, Hidden beyond the wall, ancient texts call them the lands of the gods. America's alignment with ley lines, mounds, pyramids, and energy vortices proves it was a high-frequency civilization in the center ring. 3. The mound builders and ancient energy grids. Long before the native tribes, megalithic mound builders ruled the land. Serpent Mound, Cahokia, Poverty Point, all align with the stars and electromagnetic grid points. These were not primitive tribes, they were Atlantean engineers, tuning into Earth's frequency like the pyramids in Egypt and Peru. Star forts, sun calendars, and giant bones prove pre-reset giants and godlike humans once roamed freely in America. 4. The Red Reset, erasing ancient America. The 1800s, Wild West, myth, Indian wars, and Library of Congress burnings were all about destroying the Atlantean evidence, burying ancient tech and symbols, replacing the story with cowboys and manifest destiny lies. The Smithsonian and Vatican worked together to hide bones of giants, ancient artifacts, and flat realm cosmology. They erased America's real role to keep you locked in a Eurocentric slave history. 5. Why they hid it? America holds the frequency code. The land is rich in crystal, gold, water, energy nodes, it's a cosmic circuit board. Ancient Americans used sound, solar energy, and Chi flow to stay connected to the Creator, without religion.
Wow.
Flat Earth reality equals contained dimension. Ancient America equals the divine reset key that unlocks the original grid. Washington, D.C. was built over ancient sacred land with a Saturn Masonic layout. Navajo, Hopi, Mayan, and Olmec legends all speak of a great fall, gods from above, and multiple resets. North Star Polaris was central to navigation and spiritual alignment for these ancient cultures. The Red Pill Truth Summary. America wasn't founded, it was stolen. Atlantis didn't disappear, it was renamed. And the flat earth realm isn't a theory, it's the true map they fear. Because when you realize you're in a realm, not a globe, and America is the key, you take your power back.
Yesterday,
Any of the seekers believe in the flat earth theory, man. They was doling out a lot of information, man. I was keeping up with it too. So they basically how saying America is basically Atlantis, and that's why people really want America, because it's in the center of everything since it's the flat earth theory. I need to know if we have any flat earthers among us in the seekers.
this Saudi Arabian prince passed away after spending nearly 20 years in a coma. But what's so crazy about this is that it's not just a story of tragedy, it's a story of how a family stood by their son for 2 decades, refusing to give up on him. You see, Prince Al-Walid, a member of the ruling royal family of Saudi Arabia, was involved in a horrific car crash while studying at a London military college in 2005. He was just 15 years old at the time and suffered severe brain injuries and internal bleeding, which forced him into a coma. And things were so bad that the doctors themselves advised ending his life support. His father, however, refused to give up hope. Instead, for the next 20 years, the family did everything they could for him. And in the process, he became known globally as the Sleeping Prince. They brought in top specialists from around the world, they celebrated his birthdays by his bedside, and even shared small signs of progress online, like small finger movements. But tragically, despite doing everything in their power, yesterday on the 19th of June, Prince Al-Walid's father announced his passing on X, saying, "With deep sorrow and sadness, we mourn our beloved son. He died in the same hospital that he was treated for the last 20 years. And now the whole of Saudi Arabia is mourning because this has turned into something so much bigger than just a tragic accident. The Sleeping Prince and his family became a symbol of enduring love, hope, and perseverance in a story which has now touched the hearts of so many. R.I.P. the Sleeping Prince."
This is a video of the Pope opening these doors for Christmas. This video came out last year, and it's now surfacing that there's something hiding in this video that nobody noticed, and it is honestly unnerving and unsettling. So I need to say first, no weapon formed against us shall prosper, and I rebuke this in the name of Jesus, because what you're about to see is absolutely shocking. And you already missed it. It just played. You didn't even see it. I'm going to slow it down, zoom it in, and we're going to need to talk about this. Now watch closely. As he is I slowed it down so you'll be able to see it. As this door is opening, there's someone waiting on the other side of the door, and something about them does not add up. Bottom right corner, look over here.
Okay.
Look at this guy's head. Do you notice anything? Do you notice it? Dude, where are his ears?
I just picked up on
Where
it.
are this dude's ears? Look very closely. There's no shadow for them. There is no ear. What opened the door for the Pope?
Skinwalker.
And why doesn't it have ears? My ears will never look like this. Even if I shaved my whole head, you'd still see my ears. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and follow for more.
Gucci Man is gone. Everybody been thinking this for the longest time. But after this interview with his wife, I know this man is gone. Listen to what she said. This shit crazy, fool.
Like, set a plan up. Like, at one point, I called his attorney, I called some bodyguards, and I just planned a whole kidnap, and we kidnapped him and took him to the hospital because we could not get him to the hospital. And he was trying to fight them and everything, but it was 6 of them, he couldn't handle it. And we threw him in the car, he would try to jump out the car, so we put him in the center of the car, you know? And that was like his last episode.
Now, whatever way y'all want to interpret that, she said she kidnapped this man. So that means he didn't want to go at his will. She said that was his last episode, though. Don't this sound like get out?
Eu não conheço o futuro. Não vim lhe
I
dizer
don't
como
know.
isso terminará. Eu vim dizer como vai começar. Pois eu vou mostrar a essas pessoas o que você não quer que elas vejam. Eu vou mostrar um mundo sem você. Um mundo sem regra, onde qualquer coisa é possível. O que haverá depois, você vai decidir.
That's the Matrix line, bro. I remember that verbatim.
Have y'all noticed that the things that people used to call people crazy for or conspiracy theorists for, y'all remember how conspiracy theorists used to get the worst of the worst when it came to like banter and talking about them and thinking that they're crazy and stupid? But now everything is being exposed and people are realizing that the people who were conspiracy theorists and question everything, because I don't look at a conspiracy theorist, like there are people who go OD with the conspiracy stuff, but for the most part, I look at conspiracy theories as people who question everything, right? But the higher ups label you as a conspiracy theorist and everyone else conforms, and so you're looked at as the person who's crazy. Do y'all understand that a lot of the people who've been, like, the things that are happening right now, people have been saying this for the last 10, 20, 30, before I was born years. But when, like, even when I was younger and I used to watch, like, a bunch of things, conspiracy theorists, I used to watch a bunch of things and people used to say things that are happening right now. And I'm like, dang, like, that's crazy. I used to even label people like crazy conspiracy theorists when I was like 14 and 13 and 15. And I don't know, people might call me a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I don't think I am. I just think I question everything and I don't believe the higher ups. But now y'all see that the conspiracy theorists weren't the crazy people. Y'all see it now.
This is
Yeah, man. Like, I wonder how many people conspiracy theorists back in the day, bro. They had some theories, man, that's hold true to this day, man. That's why I started this journey in the first place, man. It's just to, like, ask questions. Don't believe everything people say because, I mean, people lie. That's human nature, man. So you never know who's telling the truth. So you always got to question. You got to find out the truth yourself. I wonder what conspiracy theories, man, that were told back in the day that it's like still going on right now, bro. But they can't see that the theory was true.
for entertainment purposes only, of course. But I think I've actually caught Project Bluebeam in action here. Or something else, but these orbs that everybody was seeing, they project images down to us, what we see. So that if you've seen the videos of them spraying the stuff, they spray the stuff and then the orb projects the image to make it look like an airplane or whatever they want, to make birds look like birds. But I think I'm the first one who has caught this, and I hope everybody passes this around and lets everybody see what's going on. But once again, for entertainment purposes only, this is only, imaginary. I have a lot of other great videos too I'm going to try to get out there. But this truly is super interesting. Stay safe, everyone.
They say Project Bluebeam looks intense. Just orbs dancing, projecting an image.
Call the health agency and tell them to come shut this place down, man. Because people are going to get sick and die. sink, and die.
I turned it down. We gotta clean this place up.
The next day.
What's that?
So basically, the owner called and threatened me with the authorities to leave the store immediately because he's made 0 sales today. The owner cares more about money than he do the health and safety of the community. Get him? Yeah. Get him? Say that again. Say what's that? What's his name?
Y'all representative.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, y'all supposed to be here.
I do supposed to be here. Did you see the health score, sir? 81.5? Huh?
That's what they're talking about.
I know, but the owner has nothing to do with it. This store got to get shut down. Nobody come do it. So nobody can eat here. Anybody got to look, yeah, we all good. Nobody can eat here. Anybody come. So call the owner back and tell him he should have been cleaning it up. So this is exactly why we do what we do, so we can do stuff like this. See this? This is what the owner wants. You want stuff like this. But guess what? That's what we do with stuff like that. We do stuff like that, we throw it in the trash. Okay? Yes, Alex. Yeah, so you threatening me that you're gonna bring authorities for me cleaning up your restaurant. I know you didn't ask of me, but you were going to be shut down indefinitely and not make no money ever again at this location.
Trying to help you out.
I'm sorry?
No, not the toes.
All right, let's push this back. Come on, let's finish up. Let's push this back. No, I'm not to go.
Group 7 just might be the secret society that we need. I just seen a video where someone used Group 7 to get out of a drinking and driving ticket. Well, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. Listen to this.
That's funny. I want to search the car. Okay. No, listen. I'm already finished. I want to search the car.
Listen.
Yeah, but let me. There's an odor. Yeah, no, I get it. But what I'm saying is,
listen.
What? I'm in Group 7. What? I said I was in Group 7. Hold on 1 second. Group 7.
Know what he's about to get out of this.
What group did you say? Yeah, 7.
Listen.
Hey, brother, I'm sorry about the misunderstanding, all right? You have a good night, okay?
Now, I know what somebody's going to say. Somebody is going to say that video was a skit. And it might be. But what got me was the fact that, tell me what cops you know take risks in doing skits like that. Tell me that. Group 7 just took this shit to a whole different level. If you go down that Group 7 rabbit hole, you will see how many Group 7s there are. You will see how many views that got. You will see how many interactions that got. There are a lot of people in Group 7. It's a lot of us. And if everybody in Group 7 sticks together, do you know what we can do? Let everybody in Group 7 know that Group 7 is the biggest thing on this planet. That man was visibly drunk, and they let him go. Just remember this, we can use Group 7 to our advantage. I'm out.
What happened to the 6'7" kid? Like the video, or he'll visit you at night. The 6'7" kid was a regular high school student, but one day he went crazy when the teacher asked what 6 times 7 was during math class. He was locked in an asylum, but he managed to escape and started spreading the 6'7" insanity. Now the entire world is repeating this meme. Comment 6'7" to stop 6'7" kid. Who the hell?
The 6'7" kid, bro, can't be stopped. I gotta say 6'7", bro.
Created 6'7", like the video, or you'll only say 6'7" forever. There was once a genius mathematician. He would solve math equations all day and night, but one day he went crazy and started mysteriously writing down the numbers 6 and 7. He went outside and started screaming the numbers and laughing, infecting others with his laugh. Now everyone is repeating the numbers 6 and 7, but the genius mathematician has disappeared, and no one knows the origin of this meme. Comment 6'7" if you know the 6'7" meme. Who the hell is 6'7" kid? Like this video, or he will shout 6'7" at you. One day there was a kid who really loved playing basketball. He was playing it all the time. However, he was shorter than everyone else. He would always lose, which made him sad. But then he got an idea. Every time he played against someone who was 6'7", he would shout 6'7". It worked. Now he scores every time. Comment 6'7".
It's not a good thing
all
that
right.
Bill Gates is disinterested in the water.
Bill Gates is very interested in your water while everyone's distracted with indictments and celebrity BS. Bill Gates human right, and
Not a
now
human
they're
right.
making moves to own it. This isn't speculation. It's already happening. Gates is buying up farmland that sits on major aquifers. BlackRock is pouring billions into water infrastructure. And Nestle still extracting millions of gallons while local communities run dry. They're not just buying land, they're buying access to rivers, lakes, groundwater. They're investing in the tech to monitor, track, and reroute where water flows and who gets it. This isn't about conservation. This is about control. Food already controls people, but water controls everything. You can live without oil. You can survive without power. But water, you got days. They already run agriculture, finance, and energy. Now they want to own survival itself, and no one's stopping them.
How insane is this? This is going to sound a little cliche, but one day they will charge us for the air we breathe. As always, stay weird.
I'm in China.
That's actually insane, man. All those big companies teaming up to get to own water. I don't think that's gonna end well, bro. And him with him saying how one day they're gonna charge us for freaking air, the air we breathe. Didn't that happen in that movie, The Lorax? Like I said, man, if they be putting in these pieces of media, you just gotta pick up on the messages.
And they have robotic legs. Now he's wrapping it around my kneecaps. Something's happening with the legs. Okay. What? Okay, what am I doing? What?
Okay.
Okay.
Start to walk. Walking normally.
Okay, I'm walking normally. Whoa! Oh my gosh! It's like moving for me.
Come on.
Now?
Sure.
Now I can go.
No.
The robot is like I'm putting no effort into running, and I'm like running so good. Wow.
You can change the power.
Yeah, can we put like maximum power? Move by itself. Okay. Oh, it's moving for me. I'm not walking. I am not walking. This is literally the future. I'm running with a robot.
Episodes in kids' cartoons.
Talk about
In an episode of Care Bears, the bears and their cousins find themselves in a place called Drab City, where color has vanished and people who live there don't seem to care about anything. This was caused by a mysterious force that took everyone's color and feelings away. And slowly, it started going after the bears, and they eventually gave in until help arrived. The whole episode was about mental health, and it came off as way too heavy for a kid's show. Next, in The Very Odd Parents, Timmy gets upset for not being appreciated for the good deeds he's done and wishes he was never born. He's then transported to an alternate universe where it shows that everyone's lives are better without him. And to add insult to injury, Timmy gets sent to what's basically the pits of hell. And when Timmy gets a hold of Jorgen's wand, he takes time to think if wishing himself to exist is worth making everyone's lives miserable. It's a pretty dark and messed up plot. And lastly, this Thomas and Friends episode starts as per usual, with Thomas giving a helping hand. Then, it's not long after that a character named Stepney ends up getting lost in a scrapyard, getting lost in a fog and almost getting scrapped in the process. This was meant to warn kids to be careful while on their journeys, or you may not live to tell your story.
Ghost stories from...
Hey man, that's freaking crazy, bro. The messaging, man, in these kid shows, man, it's like when you think about it, when you're a kid, you're just so oblivious to it, but there's real life messages in all pieces of media, man. You just gotta be able to see it. Because I sure wasn't picking up on it as a kid.
From around the world. This is hands down my most requested video. Mexico, La Llorona. Once there was a woman named Maria who married a rich man and had 2 children. But eventually her marriage hit a rough patch and her husband started spending less and less time with her and the kids. Until finally Maria caught him cheating. Absolutely enraged at this, she ends up drowning her 2 children. She immediately regrets it and tried to save them, but it was too late. Then she stopped eating and grew thinner and thinner until she resembled a skeleton. Eventually, she finally passed away by the same river that she drowned her children, still crying and mourning over them. So after she died, she went to heaven but was denied entry. She was banished to purgatory on earth until she could find her lost sons. And that's how she became La Llorona, which also translates to the weeping woman. She floats over bodies of water in a long white funeral gown. She also kidnaps children and attacks cheating husbands.
Damn. Okay. probably gonna have to call edit on this one. Yeah, I'm calling edit. What do you guys think?
The darkest conspiracy theories. The Teletubbies theory. The theory says that the show is inspired by historic events
Really?
that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility. Each Teletubby is inspired by a kid that was experimented on. Lola was based on a child who had facial disfigurement and had to smile all the time. And ended up lying in his own puke. And Bill was based on a child who fell into fire, which is recognizable why his color is red.
Here's some conspiracy theories that I
believe that?
think have passed the level of theory and are true. Women's clothing is designed with little to no pockets for the sole purpose of selling more purses. High-end art is just a scheme to launder money and avoid taxes. Like this one here, sold for $43 million. This one sold for $46 million. This one was $84 million. Someone actually paid $87 million for this. This has got to contribute to inflation in some way. Things that happen in the entertainment industry, like with movies, TV shows, video games, are done on purpose to gauge interest and get opinions before an official announcement. That little bit of dust that comes off the end of tissues when you pull them out of the box is specifically designed to get you to sneeze, that way you need more tissues. The government orchestrates their own conspiracy theories to get us distracted from actual problems.
Hey man, she was hitting the head on the nail, bro. Especially like I said, how some of those theories, how they can be true. I'm about to say, you guys think, especially the last one, when she said how sometimes the government, they be trying to put theories out there, trying to distract us from the bigger truth. That's why I tapped in with this, or tuned into this type of content, man, so I can learn, so I can expand my mind. I didn't want to be distracted no more. Where's this guy?
Some trees can actually grow inside of your lungs. In Russia, doctors performed surgery on a man named Artyom Sidorkin, suspecting that he had a cancerous tumor in his lungs. Instead of a tumor, though, they found a 5-centimeter fir tree branch inside of his lung.
What?
Doctors believe that Sidorkin accidentally swallowed a fir tree bud, which later grew into a branch. The probability of dying on your birthday is higher than any other day. There is actually a 14% chance of dying on your birthday than any other day. This is a shocking phenomenon called the birthday effect, which may be due to extra stress, drinking more, or people engaging in risky behaviors on their birthdays. A devil's chair exists in many cemeteries. In various cemeteries around the world, there are stone chairs called devil's chairs. These chairs were often used by mourners to sit and grieve, but legends and superstitions have given them a sinister reputation. Some stories claim that if you sit in one at midnight, the devil himself will appear. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York City than you are to be bitten by a shark. There could be someone secretly living in your wall or attic without you even knowing it. It's called frogging, and people say that it's becoming more and more common. So if you hear strange noises, notice things missing or moved, or your box of Frosted Flakes cereal is all of a sudden empty, there could be a frogger living in your home. Here's what some of the most...
I didn't even know that was an actual term, but froggers, that's actually one of my worst fears ever, man. That's like imagine somebody in your own space and you have no idea. Gotta pay attention, man. And that fir tree going inside that person, I would have said that's impossible, man, but we just saw it. You know.
Most famous monsters actually are the chupacabra. The goat-griefing livestock leech believed to be first seen in Puerto Rico was more than likely a dog with a severe case of mange, and that's when mites burrow into the skin and basically cause parasitic alopecia. Bigfoot, different animals, same beast, or whatever it was Kobe said. Anyway, it was probably a mangy bear. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. What the hell mange does? Coke Bear done graduated to meth?
Ooh.
I don't mean numbers. The Loch Ness Monster. There have been many theories, but what's most likely was probably just an escaped circus elephant with trunks out like Dragon Ball. For centuries, there have been stories of killer Cyclops, a one-eyed op to humanity. Whole time, someone probably just found an expired elephant skull in an Olympic long jump to a conclusion. And last, almost every sea monster story you've ever heard was probably just some whale freeing his willy. That's exactly what you think it is, the more you know.
Here's how Area 51 became the center for alien conspiracy theories. In 1989, a man named Bob Lazar claimed that he had worked at a facility near Area 51 known as S4. According to Lazar, the facility was being used to reverse engineer alien technology recovered from crashed UFOs. Lazar's claims were highly controversial, and many people dismissed him as a hoaxer. However, his story only served to fuel the already existing rumors of alien activity at Area 51. Since then, countless conspiracy theories have emerged about what's really going on at Area 51. Some people believe that the government is hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life, while others think that the base is being used to develop top-secret weapons and technology.
What do you guys think?
That's what Mordecai said. Take that back, Rigby. When they started fighting, and it didn't take long for them to bump into a microwave which took them up into space. And while in space, the argument still continued. You're over here turning on me, Mordecai, but I'm your bro. I'm just looking out for you. That's what Mordecai said. I don't care. I've been trying to get with Margaret for years, and yet every time she turns me down. And next thing you know, Mordecai pushes Rigby off, killing Rigby. That's when Mordecai says, wait, no! But the damage was already done, and Rigby's funeral went down the following week. Mordecai killed his best friend, and he disintegrated into the abyss, all because he was a simp.
He couldn't take that L, bro. It drove him insane. What the hell? I can't believe that freaking aired. That was on like Cartoon Network too. I might have to check. We're gonna have to review that episode, man. See if it's legit.
Who eat humans. Komodo dragon. Piranhas. Crocodiles. Jaguars. African driver ant.
African driver ants eat humans?
Bear. Lion. Catfish.
Catfish eat humans now? What the hell?
Tiger. Cheetah. Hyenas. Shark. Dog.
Dogs too? What the hell?
Polar bear.
This is part 2 of the crime scene
That
photos
shocked me.
released from the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, revolving around the murder of her mom, Dee Dee. This is another photo that was taken inside the house. You can see that the kitchen is absolutely trashed. This is inside their living room. Again, literally trash everywhere. This next one, please, if you're squeamish, look away. Okay, I cropped the photo, but basically her mom was found in this pink bedsheet. I'm covering a lot of, She was found laying on her stomach with stab wounds all over her body and a huge gash mark on her neck. Again, those photos are literally online where you see everything. I cropped this one again, but this is the crime scene bit. This half, it was just all blood and a wrapped body. I know a lot of you are really curious and you want to see these photos, but they are very dark and gruesome. Even photos of Dee Dee nude from the waist down. It was a very dark and gruesome murder.
Cursed games you should never play. Part 24.
Dark case.
Blue baby, baby blue. Begin at night. Go into a bathroom and turn off all the lights. Then lock the door behind you and face the mirror. As you're looking into the mirror, position your arms as though you're cradling a baby. While doing this, chant the phrase blue baby, baby blue 13 times. As you do this, you'll feel the weight in your arms begin to grow. And at some point, you'll start to feel scratching on your arms. Once you feel the scratching, immediately drop the baby in the toilet, flush it, unlock the door, and leave. If you're alive, you won. But there are 2 possible losing conditions. The lesser of 2 being the scratching in your arms becoming unbearable, or the second one being a woman appearing in the mirror. She will demand her baby back and probably kill you.
I never play those type of
These are
games.
scary cartoon
Never.
truths that would terrify you. Part 12. Okay, so Talking Angela started as a mobile phone app for a lot of children. Angela is a white cat with blue eyes who has conversations with you and could answer any question you ask. But recently, Talking Angela turned into an app to spy on young children. It is said the app was taken over by a creepy man or a very creepy group. It's said that if you're over 18, nothing happens. But if you're younger than that, the cat will then start asking you very weird questions. Like,
What?
where do you live, what is your name, and what are your parents' names? The creepy man or group are able to take pictures of you through your own phone. Also, if you zoom in on Angela's eye, you can see a man watching you. And if that's not scary enough, a young boy named Eli went missing shortly after downloading the app, and he was never found.
Hey man, that's how you gotta freaking. You have to know what type of apps you download, man. Especially when it comes to these kids' apps, because they just use as a cover for something else, man. Like a simple kids app, bro. You think talking to a cat, you wouldn't think nothing. You wouldn't think nothing of it. It's like it's the perfect cover, seekers. We learning out here. Got it. Call it like I see it.
Every time I go to chase it, it runs. I don't think it's a good idea I chase it anymore. You might think I'm playing with him. Every time. I see him, but I'm not gonna act like I see him. I see him right there ducking. Oh, what the hell's wrong with his head?
I see that too.
Why does he look like that? I want to try to zoom. Oh my god, why does he look like that?
Hmm?
All of the Rugrats are
Oh.
a part of Angelica's imagination. They aren't real. None of them. Chucky died in the same accident that his mom died. And that's why his dad is always so nervous and freaking out, because he has to deal with it.
What about Tommy?
Well, Tommy was a stillborn. And that's why Stu goes down into the basement late at night, making toys for the son he wish he had.
That's why he's always depressed.
What are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
And the twins ended up being a miscarriage. It was early in the pregnancy, so Angelica didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl, so she just imagined both.
What about Susie?
Susie is real and going along with all of Angelica's crazy imaginations because it's her only friend. She tries to make her happy at times. But the one baby that is real is Dill. Dill goes against Angelica's crazy imagination and doesn't do what she expects. And that's why Angelica freaks out on Dill all the time and gets so upset.
Rugrats, man, they weren't real the whole time? Show that there to a couple of people, their minds gonna be blown. The hell? The hell?
The reason I had to move out of my flat.
Okay.
I was home alone.
The hell is that? It's staring at her, and the dogs can see it too. It's like the dog can sense it. If you know that ain't your mom, don't open it up. How the hell they unlock the door?
Then what's your name then?
Yeah, what the hell? She was right now opening up that door. That was a creepy one. For sure.
This teenager became concerned for her ex and tried to help him. Little did she know she was about to be brutally killed. Lauren Astley was 18 years old from Wayland, Massachusetts. She began dating Nathaniel Fujita when the pair were in high school together. Nathaniel was a popular football player. The pair were described as being quite on and off. On the 1st of April 2011, she decided to end the relationship with Nathaniel. However, it did not go down very well at all, and his friends reported that he became depressed and withdrawn. He stopped doing things he used to enjoy doing, and he just didn't seem to care about life anymore. In summer 2011, the pair attended the same graduation party. It was reported that at the party, Nathaniel got quite jealous of when Lauren was talking to other boys. Nathaniel got quite drunk, and Lauren's mum was actually at the party, and Lauren ran up to her crying. She said that Nathaniel wouldn't leave her alone and was harassing her. Now, Nathaniel got so angry at this party that he punched the tent that everybody was in and caused it to collapse.
Damn.
He was then asked to leave the party. It was reported that Nathaniel started drinking quite heavily and becoming even more depressed. His mum actually got so worried about him that she reached out to Lauren. She asked Lauren if she could help and maybe speak to him, and Lauren agreed because she was concerned. Lauren agreed to chat to him and meet him at his house on the 3rd of July 2011. Tragically, she had no idea she would not leave the house alive. She texted him stating here and entered the house at approximately 7:05 p.m. Nathaniel lured her into the garage, slit her throat and strangled her with a bungee cord. He then drove her car to Town Beach and disposed of the keys down a drain. After running home, he put her body in his car and dumped her in a secluded area nearby. Obviously, Lauren's family got really concerned when she didn't get home. Nathaniel, as obviously the last person she was meeting up with, was reported as a suspect. Police found bloodstains in his garage and a big bag full of clothes soaked in blood. Lauren's body was found not long after. Nathaniel's defense in court stated that he was suffering a massive depressive episode and therefore should not be held criminally responsible.
Really?
However, luckily he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. People are calling this case the Incest House of Horrors. This case comes with just about the biggest trigger warning for the most horrific things you could hear. It was October 2023 in the quiet Polish village called Koniki. An arrest was about to happen which would shake the small community. The true horrors of what had been going on under everyone's noses were absolutely chilling. Piotr Girasik was 54 years old. He and his wife Hannah had had a staggering 12 children together. Hannah had passed away 15 years prior, leaving Piotr to look after the children on his own. Now, the house that he lived in was far from ideal for such a huge family. Locals were also often concerned about hearing cries and screaming from inside the home. They knew Piotr had a close relationship with his 20-year-old daughter, Paulina, but they had no idea just how disturbing things were getting inside the home. That was until local workers at a cake shop nearby tipped off social services. They had serious concerns about what was going on in the property, and they were right to be worried. When officers arrived at the home, they could smell something absolutely potent. Upon closer inspection of the property, they found decomposing, dead babies in the basement. 2 of the tiny bodies were wrapped in plastic bags, and one was just lying on the floor. Now, at the time of the discovery, Piotr wasn't actually living in this house with all 12 of his children. Some had escaped. He was living in the house with his daughter Paulina and his disabled son Damien. It would later be revealed that sometimes Damien was seen sat outside the house crying. He told officers that his dad would have S with his sister, so the dad's daughter, and regularly chase Damien out the house and beat him when he wanted to do this. Damien was abused and was given little more than cold rice to live off. Horrifically, police discovered that the deceased babies in the basement were actually the product of incest. The 3 babies found in the cellar were believed to have been killed just after they were born. Frustratingly, Piotr had actually been on the radar of police. He'd been investigated 5 times over allegations of incest. He was arrested finally by police, and his daughter Paulina was also arrested. Thankfully, many of Piotr's children had managed to flee, and his one daughter Kasia referred to him as a monster. He's now facing charges of murder, incest, and R. Lacey Fletcher, the woman who melted into her couch? Well, the people responsible for this have been sentenced. But let me remind you guys a little bit about 36-year-old Lacey. In 2022, she was found deceased on her family's couch, and apparently she sat there for 12 years without moving. So how exactly does that happen? Well, Lacey had severe autism and she was nonverbal, so she solely depended on her parents as her caregiver. But after years of neglect, she weighed less than 100 pounds. She was found covered in maggots at her own waist. And again, this is how the couch looked like when they found Lacey deceased. Lacey's cause of death was acute medical neglect, and ultimately her parents, Sheila and Clay Fletcher, were each sentenced this month to 40 years, but will only be serving 20 years in prison. Now, what's outrageous is that her parents, who went from this to this, testified that their daughter refused any medical attention. How can someone who couldn't communicate and completely relied on them refuse medical attention? A 36-year-old weighing less than 100 pounds. Let that sink in. This tragedy could have been prevented. There is no excuse.
Gross habits that are
case,
actually
man.
good for you. It's healthy for your stomach to burp after a meal because it means it's getting rid of excess air. When you bite your nails, you're actually consuming some of the bacteria under your fingernail. As a result, your immune system begins producing white blood cells, which fights against bacteria. Children who bite their nails or suck on their thumb are less likely to develop allergies, according to research. Before the last one, I just found this super addicting game that you'll never want to get rid of. You build your own kingdom and destroy others, and you can get it right here. Showering strips your skin of its essential oils, which is necessary to keep it hydrated and protected. So it's okay to go without showering for a day or two.
See, guys, tell me if y'all. I know y'all been seeing it in the freaking in the social media spheres, bro. Like, there's been a lot of freaking celebrities talking about how they really don't be shown at all, or like they only do it like, I guess like once a week or something like that. Please tell me y'all don't follow that, bro. Don't be funky, secrets.
Secret rooms hidden in famous locations. In the Statue of Liberty, there's a small room hidden inside the torch, but no one can enter inside because it was damaged by the Germans in 1916. And although it was repaired, they still don't allow anyone inside just as a safety precaution. Mount Rushmore is famous for the 4 sculpted faces of the previous American presidents. But behind them is a secret vault, and inside is the secret Krabby Patty formula. Just kidding, they keep historical documents back there, like the Declaration of Independence, and the biography of the sculpture, and the history of construction, but no one can access them. Inside Big Ben, there's a secret room by the bell tower. Although it's no longer in use, it used to be a prison for people who breached the code of conduct, and I have no idea what that means. But before I show you the coolest one, I just found this game that you'll never want to get rid of. Build your own fortress and attack other people, and you can get it right here. The Tower of London is one of the most famous fortresses in the world. Underneath it is a pub that you can only get invited to by one of the other members.
What is the dumbest reason you can think of somebody committing a crime? I'm about to one-up your thought right now. This man from Pennsylvania behind me named Benjamin Gowell killed his girlfriend because he didn't like her haircut. And just because he didn't like her haircut, he stabbed her to death. This happened on Sunday, November 3rd at 1 p.m. in East Hempfield, Pennsylvania. Police were called, the EMTs transported 2 people out, and 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene, so there was 3 people involved here. The victim was Carmen Martinez Silva. Her brother was also present there. I'm assuming he tried to fight the suspect, her boyfriend, off. Her brother would get stabbed in the skull, and Carmen would be pronounced dead at the scene. They found Benjamin Gowell's kitchen knife in his car. Apparently Carmen was a little fearful of Gowell, so she went over to her daughter's place. Her daughter gave her a haircut, and that just infuriated him for some reason. She was scared to go back, so she went to her brother's place. That's when she informed him she would like to end the relationship because he was being crazy. He knocked on the brother's door. The brother told him she is not here. He came back a few minutes later with a knife, stabbed him, broke through their house, and then stabbed her multiple times. This is all over a haircut. A haircut's the thing that apparently sent this guy over the edge. Now he has 3 counts of aggravated assault, a homicide count, an attempted homicide count, and a bunch of reckless endangering counts. Obviously, with his girlfriend dying now, he will probably be getting life in prison. That's a first-degree murder right there.
Over a damn haircut, really? That has to be one of the most dumbest crimes we've heard yet. People, man, be doing the most stupidest things for no reason. Life in prison for a haircut.
have to hear this, an Uber driver claims that he actually picked up a group of ghosts. A man in Savannah, Georgia, a town that is well known for its paranormal activity, says that he used to work for a car service. One night, the man whose name is William was sent to pick up 3 ladies from Foley House, a historic bed and breakfast in the heart of the city. When he got there, he saw 3 women dressed up in what he described as Southern Belle outfits. He said that he picked them up and they got in the cab. They were going to Elizabeth on 37th Street. He said that they were all chatting and laughing in the back seat, and he was having a good time just cruising. Williams said that when he got to the destination, he turned around and said, "Ma'am, your fare is going to be such and such." But shockingly, there was nobody else in the cab. He called his boss to tell him the unexplainable story, but before he could begin, his boss grew angry, asking him if he had picked up the 3 ladies from the Foley House. He said that he did, but there was nobody in the cab. To this day, William believes that he picked up 3 ghosts instead of the paying customers that had requested the ride.
Islands on Earth that if you
Ghost
go to,
Uber?
you will die. Up first is North Sentinel Island. It is home to the Sentinelese tribe. Those who go never make it out alive. Next is Spider Island. It's home to most of the biggest and deadliest spiders in the world. And trust me, these can definitely kill you. Next is Monkey Island. You've probably never heard of this, but this is a remote island in Puerto Rico, and it's home to some of the deadliest monkeys in the world. All the monkeys on this island carry one of the most lethal infections in the world. Finally, and this is probably the worst one, Reunion Island. The surrounding waters are completely overrun by sharks, and the population keeps increasing rapidly. In total, there have been 50 shark attacks at this island.
And people still go there? Monkey Island, Spider Island, Shark Island. It's like, pick your poison. Which one do you want to go? Which one you want to go to? If you had to choose out of all those 3, what would you pick, man? What you think you could survive on? I wanna know.
Creepy relics of early 2000s Craigslist are completely unmatched. So back in the early 2000s, Craigslist was just this safe haven for some of the darkest fringes of society. It's the only way I can describe it. And just first off, we all know what a septic tank is, correct? They're very common, they have to be pumped, a lot of homes have them. So let's discuss the Alabama man who would pay you to go into yours. So his official ad says, "Some might judge me for this, but it's what I enjoy. I will pay you $150 an hour to bring my equipment in and gain access to your septic tank. I then have my associate close the tank after I set up my tripod and camera up. Believe it or not, it's a great place to reflect." And very unsurprisingly, not long after, a lot of videos leaked on LiveLeak of what was known as Septic Tank Man. Absolutely, the videos are shocking, but I think the more shocking part is how long ago this was and that nobody has ever identified who this man really was in Alabama.
The absolute scariest moments captured on camera. This eye-wrenching footage recorded on the 12th of January 2021 shows a group of people in a boat when a massive iceberg collapses. When the iceberg collapsed, it made a terrifying wave that was over 30 feet high.
Damn.
The group of people in the boat try to get away as fast as they can as this monstrous wave follows them. Thankfully, they get away safely just in time. That wave could have easily wiped them out.
It could have. Yeah, they hit the jets on that boat, bro. Full drive. Man, pictures, like I said, they tell a story. You never know, man. At the right moment, it could be your last moment, bro.
Kids with Real Superpowers Part 1. This kid, whose name is this one, I don't know how to pronounce it, and he's called the Cat Boy because he can see in the dark. As you can see, he has very bright blue eyes, and when he was seen by the doctors and asked many questions, they ended up in the conclusion that he can see in the dark. But there are a lot of people who claim that this is fake. Do you believe it's true or not?
When they entered the apartment, what they found was disturbing. The first thing that they saw was a skinny 4-year-old Benji with 2 big black eyes. But not just that, Benji had bruises all over his body. He also had an injury in his ear, and because of that, he had a gauze just like sticking out of his ear. The officer said that he was very skinny and did not look like a normal 4-year-old. When they asked why did Benji have all these injuries, Miranda and Brandon said that he had behavioral issues and that he would do this to himself. They said that he had a habit of constantly poking his eyes and ears, and that's why it caused those injuries. Then officers decided to bring Benji alone into the bathroom, and they asked him again, what happened to you? Benji said the same thing his parents said and told the officers that he did it to himself and that he poked at his eyes and ears. But when you watch the video, it doesn't sound genuine, and it kind of sounds like Benji was rehearsed and told to say that. They had locks on their fridge, on their kitchen cabinets, and everywhere where there was food. They also noticed a lot of cameras set up in the apartment, especially in the kitchen. From their point of view, it just looked a little bit odd. Why are there so many locks and why is there cameras everywhere? Now, they retrieved all these cameras and began looking at all the footage, and I was not prepared to see what I saw. I think this was one of the saddest videos I've seen in a while. Watching how this boy would sneak out of his room in the middle of the night to look for food, it literally broke my heart. It was said that before Miranda moved into the home, Benji was able to just go in and out of the cabinets and fridge and get whatever he wanted. But then these locks were added and it became more difficult for Benji to get food.
These identical twin sisters were pure evil. In 1952, in the quiet town of Eldridge, there were 2 identical twin sisters, Emily and Evelyn. On the surface, they appeared to be normal, sweet girls, but beneath that, they hid a sinister nature. A new girl named Clara moved into town, quickly gaining popularity, which angered the twins. The attention shifted away from them, and they grew envious. One evening, they invited Clara to a secret gathering in the woods, promising her a magical experience. The next morning, Clara was nowhere to be found. The town buzzed with rumors, but no one had proof of what happened. Weeks later, the twins' mother, Lorraine, overheard a disturbing conversation while passing by their room. She pressed her ear to the door and heard the chilling words, "We need another one." Clara wasn't enough. Horrified, Lorraine burst into the room, but it was empty. On the twins' beds, she found 2 dolls, identical to her daughters, and a 3rd doll with Clara's face. The twins were never seen again. Some say they still wander the forests, waiting to claim their next victim.
What do you guys think? Is that like a creepy folklore story? Because there'd be some realism to that. I think that's a folklore to me. I think that we heard a folklore story right there. But
these are the scariest serial killers from each state, part 1. Up first is Nanny Doss from Alabama, also known as the Giggling Granny. She married 5 times and murdered 4 of her husbands, and the only one that survived was her first husband. She also poisoned 11 of her family members. Her first 2 victims were her children, who allegedly died from food poisoning. She got the nickname the Giggling Granny because she would always laugh at the crime she committed. She killed 11 people and is definitely the scariest serial killer from Alabama.
You telling me it's her own daughters?
As of right now, this is definitely my top 10, absolutely top 5. It is easily one of the most uniquely effective horror movies. This movie is about a woman named Ella who is a stop-motion animator working with her mother. And when the mother becomes hospitalized, it is up to Ella to finish her mother's vision, which Ella doesn't really want to do. And with the help of this random little girl from down the hallway, Ella tries to create a film like no other. However, when the world of reality and the world of stop motion start to really bleed together, it's going to make you wonder for the entire runtime of the movie, what is real? Now, in my opinion, I absolutely loved this movie. I don't know if the director is a genius or accidentally one, because everything in this movie just somehow works, and it works without answering all of your questions. It is a very dreamlike and ethereal type movie, so from the start, you're kind of questioning about everything, which some people are going to love and some people are really not going to like. And it goes without saying, the stop motion animation in this is perfectly creepy. If you've seen any of the previous works of the director, take the weirdness and tone of that and put it into a movie. Now, as far as like what type of scares to be prepared for in this movie, it's a good mix of a lot of different things. A handful of jump scares here and there, but what it's really effective is when the purpose of the movie is just to solely creep you out. But a warning to the squeamish, there are a couple of body horror scenes that can be kind of rough. They're extraordinarily well done. Just keep that in mind towards the end. Now, stop motion has a very limited run in theaters. Hopefully, there's more showings in the future. But the good news is, stop motion will be streaming on Shudder on May 31st. If you've seen this movie, what do you guys think?
What if I told you the mother behind me was feeding her sons to cannibals? Behind me is Klara Maurova. She's from the Czech Republic, and she had 2 sons, Jacob and Andrej. Her and her sister were part of this weird cult called the Grail Movement. They believed by doing good deeds that they would go to heaven. Now here's where it gets dangerous. This cult also believed that they were free to commit any crimes they wanted to, and nothing would affect them. And they were also cannibals. Things now got even stranger when her sister showed up with an adopted Norwegian child named Annika. She was 13 years old. Some people believe she was actually 30 and posing as a child. She was in a trafficking ring and had a lot of sympathy for her. Soon, Klara started to forget about her sons and started thinking about adopting Annika as her own. That's when this weird doctor started emailing and texting her out of nowhere. He claimed to be Annika's physician. She met up with him, he showed her her medical records, he gained her trust. The doctor said to Klara that you cannot adopt Annika because her sons are so mean to her. This was the doctor's plan all along as a cult leader. You guys remember that cult I was talking about at the beginning of the video? The doctor is like the head of this cult. He said to fix this, she needs to beat her boys as much as she can, for every little thing, and she fell for it. This was to cure their evil spirits. The doctor said these treatments are not working now. You need to take them to a cottage very far off from everyone else. She met up there. There were several people there, including her sister and Annika's brother. The boys were put in cages and tortured in every single way you can think possible. People there started to skin the boys and eat their flesh. They also made the boys eat their own flesh as well. And Annika, the 13-year-old, she kept saying the boys were still being mean to her to continue this abusive cycle. She was also part of that cult, and she was not 13. The whole cottage shock therapy ended and they went back home. The boys were treated the exact same back home though by their mother Klara. They were put in a cellar and locked up in there. Annika was living life in a room with a ton of toys and got everything she wanted. She was basically manipulating Klara this entire time. Now here's the way that she got caught, and it is crazy. Her neighbor was setting up a baby monitor for his newborn baby. Now, back in like the early 2000s, if you had a baby monitor nearby, it could pick up that signal and you could see what's in there. It could jam a little bit. He managed to see these boys tied up in cages in her basement. Could you imagine the horrifying look he had on his face seeing this? And he did what every good person would do. He called the police immediately to get them some help. The police came, everybody was arrested. Klara, her sister, and Annika. And it turns out Annika was a 33-year-old woman. Her real name was Barbara Sklorova. This is a picture of Barbara Sklorova right here, aka Annika, and she was the basis for the movie Orphan. In case the story is sounding familiar, it's basically Orphan. The doctor was actually the father of that girl Annika, aka Barbara. And Klara's sister was in on this cult the entire time and manipulated her. They all got about 5 to 10 years in prison. This story definitely had the wildest turn of events I've read about.
5 to 10 years after all that? I never even knew Orphan was based off that. I've seen that picture before. That's how I saw the simulators. I'm like, it's always freaking truth behind those stories, man. In media, what we're seeing now. It's a shame.
This is how you would survive if you were in a zombie apocalypse. It's Saturday. You're in your room watching Netflix. But alone, though, because you're single forever. All of a sudden, you get an emergency alert on your phone. A zombie apocalypse is real and has just begun. The news report states that global warming melted a glacier that had ancient viruses in it. Those viruses spread like wildfire, giving humans erotic and aggressive behavior. The virus spreads by saliva, so it causes its host to bite uninfected humans, similar to rabies. To survive, the virus feeds on your flesh, slowly deteriorating anybody it infects. 1 minute into the zombie apocalypse, you start to panic, still processing what's going on, what you just saw. You call and check on all your family members, but you don't go to their homes because anybody can be infected and you're afraid. 3 minutes in, you calm yourself down, lock your doors and windows, and think think about running to the gun store for protection and the supermarket to get food and supply. But you decide not to, because remember, where there are people, there are zombies. 20 minutes in, you realize you can't do this alone. You won't survive without a good crew. After all, teamwork makes the dream work. You call your loyal friends, families, anyone you know that can join your crew. 46 minutes in. You start thinking strategically. You wear all your leather clothes so that if a zombie tries to bite you, it's harder for him to get through. You leave your car because eventually it'll run out. It'll need gas. So you grab your bike instead. Plus, a car makes too much noise anyway. 3 hours later, you and your crew are finally all together. You're safer this way. The first plan of action is to get out of the city. It's crowded with people who can potentially be zombies. So you need to go to a more secluded area. You and the crew decide to go north, where the temperature is much more colder and can potentially make the zombies move a little slower. 2 days in, on your way out of the city, zombies attack. One of your crew members gets bitten. They tell you to take them out before they turn into a monster. You don't want to, but sadly you honor your friend's wishes and continue on. 3 days in, you guys are now living in a cabin you found in the woods. You don't have much supplies, so you and 2 of your crew members volunteer to go get some. All you have is a knife for protection. You guys find a local store 30 minutes away and grab everything you need. All of a sudden, zombies come running in. One jumps on your back before you can even react and tries biting you, but the leather jacket you have on protects you. Thank God he couldn't get through. You use the knife you have and take him out. You and your crew hop on the bikes to get away, but sadly one of your members get devoured. 5 days in, you can't stay in this cabin hideout anymore. It's surrounded by zombies. More and more zombies are starting to appear in the area. You and the crew decide that it's actually time to pack up and head out. You need better protection, so y'all find a local abandoned building. It's made of bricks, so this should be a little more safer. You block off all the entrances you can find. You need to recharge, so you all rest while switching shifts, being the lookout. 10 days in. It's only been 10 days, but it feels like forever. You manage to get more supplies more wisely this time. These supplies will keep you alive for days. You get non-perishables, like rice, canned food, beans,
Stack up.
Oatmeal. 1 month in. The area is swarming with zombies. You can't stay in this building any longer. You and the crew head to the docks to find a boat to travel in. It'll be safer this way because zombies can't swim. Finally, you guys find one and can sail to a new location. You guys jump off the boat to go find food. You have hunting and fishing gear. While hunting, all of a sudden you hear a loud whoop. It's a bear. Not only a bear though, it's a zombie bear. The virus is now spreading to animals. You and the crew make a run for it, back to the boat. 4 months in, you got no more food and the crew is starving. It's only 3 of you left and you're stuck on the boat. The engine will no longer start. It's out of gas. Zombie animals and people are surrounding the area. You pray, and you guys listen to the radio to figure out if there's any good news or any updates. Everything just seems hopeless. 4 months and 8 days in. This is it. You've lost hope. You and your friends are done for. There's only 3 of you. But you want to live. You don't want to die, but you're starving. You have no other choice but to eat your friends. 1 year in. You finally stay in a fort you built, but zombies are surrounding it. Luckily, you were smart enough to build traps all around. You sneak through an underground tunnel which leads to the backyard where you can escape. Just in time before they got in your fort. 1.5 years in. You're on the radio and you discover there's a colony that survived. They're looking for other survivors. You send an SOS immediately. It won't be long before you are noticed and possibly eaten by zombies. You are on your last leg. No food, no water, no shelter. You barely have strength to walk. You start to lose all hope. All of this was for nothing. But then you hear a helicopter up above. It's the survival colony you sent the SOS to. They rescue you and you survive. But is this finally the...
This is what I mean.
Well, I see the start of traffic.
Watch this.
Again, this how it started. These the paid actors.
There's no reason they shouldn't be doing this. They're getting paid to sit there, she said.
What the fuck going on here?
Someone explain this to me. This isn't a NASCAR race. Why are they sitting there? The Matrix is gonna Matrix. The Truman Show, y'all. Stay weird.
Let me tell you some things I just found out about. The Guinness World Record for most birthdays in one day belongs to a Pakistani family, with every member, including the mother and father, having been born on August 1st. Arnold Schwarzenegger had an older brother who was killed in a car crash in 1971 while driving drunk, and they both have sons named Patrick Schwarzenegger. How did I not hear that one before? The Luxor Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas is the third largest pyramid in the entire world. Tobey Maguire's father was convicted of robbing a bank. A New York man was arrested for keeping 7 live sharks in a pool in his basement. The creator of Pokemon was known as Mr. Bug when he was a child because he loved collecting bugs. Makes sense how Pokemon happened. There is a giant panda boot camp in China that teaches captive pandas survival skills before releasing them into the wild. I actually knew this one already, but I have to say it because humanity sent people to the moon before we added wheels to luggage.
Can someone tell me what was captured flying across the skies of Argentina in broad daylight? A large fireball-shaped object streaked across the skies of Argentina in broad daylight and was captured on multiple cameras. As a matter of fact, take a look at these videos. Look at that.
It's a meteor. It looks like it.
Straight up, straight up.
Falling from the sky.
He's telling him, look. When the video first starts, because it's so fast, it starts off just like this. And then, watch what it does. It actually gets brighter, as if it's igniting something to go faster. As a matter of fact, take one more look at it and watch how it lights up the sky as it shoots across. Look at that. After watching it again, what are your thoughts as to what you think that is? And the video did come from a news website source. So it did happen, and there's plenty of videos online if you search for Argentina fireball in the sky. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
A Nigerian chef has just attempted history by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice ever. But when it was time to be weighed, something unbelievable happened. Linda Baci already holds the world record for the longest marathon cooking session ever. But over the weekend, she took things to the next level. She made a 1,000-liter pot, used a massive 4,000 kg of rice, which is the weight of a medium elephant or 2.5 cars. She used 612 kg of oil, don't tell America, 300 kg of onions, 164 kg of goat meat, and to cook it all, 1,200 kg of gas. But after a brutal 9 hours, when it finally came time to weigh this monster dish, as it was being lifted by this crane, one of the sides of the custom pot buckled and gave way to the supporting legs. Now, luckily, none of the food spilled, but ultimately, despite 2 attempts, it could not be weighed and the world record was not recognized. But don't worry, it was not for nothing. The food didn't go to waste. It was distributed in containers and fed to the crowds watching.
Can you tell what this is?
Wow.
It is the Ursula animatronic from Disneyland when its head fell off and it kept singing. There's a video at the end if you want to skip to that. It is disgustingly terrifying. It's one of the creepiest animatronic malfunctions I've ever seen. And this is how big she is in comparison to people, by the way, before she was painted and everything. She is massive. She is 7 feet tall, 12 feet wide because of her tentacles, and her head just fell off one day. Like, she is an absolute feat of engineering, and Ursula is queen. Okay, my favorite Disney song of all time will always be Poor Unfortunate Souls. But if I saw this with her singing, with her head off, and you could still see her mouth moving, I would be traumatized for life. Watch this video and let me know what we're thinking, and would this freak you out if you saw this animatronic malfunction? To this day, I've never found an animatronic malfunction that was scarier than this one. If you know of any, let me know.
Check it out. Imagine the kids in the crowd seeing it.
Ain't no way this is Zac Efron, y'all. There's no fucking way. What the happened to Zac Efron, y'all? Am I lost? This is Zac Efron?
This is clone.
In 2025? This man look like Efron Zac. So y'all telling me right now that this is the same person that played in High School Musical, Zac Efron. This was a couple years ago. So how the hell he go from this to this?
I don't know.
It looked like on this picture he was swimming with the puffer fish. Nah, y'all, I'm being dead ass serious. What the be going on in Hollywood, y'all? They said right here was in 2021. Right here is 2025. When he had a daddy makeover?
Big difference.
He even got kids. Is this what men do? Did he get jawline surgery? Did his whole face get changed from plastic surgery? Somebody let me know down below in the comments. Who the fuck is this really? Is this really Zac Efron?
Shit that I'm about to tell you.
Look like he got a tag.
Because I didn't believe. So a whole village in Russia fell asleep for 7 days. You ain't hear what I just said, right? An entire village in Russia fell asleep for 7 days. Mind you, everybody in that village is still confused to know why they all fell asleep for 7 days at the same exact time. But here it is. When that entire village woke up, most of them didn't even know where they were at. Some of them didn't even know who they were. And to top it all off, they didn't know why they all fell asleep for those 7 days. Now, everybody who knows about this doesn't know exactly what happened. They're saying that they believe there had to be some kind of chemical that made them fall asleep. Now, ask yourself this. A whole village falls asleep 7 days straight, and that's just regular? That's not regular. Something happened here. What kind of chemical can put a whole village to sleep for 7 days? That chemical had to be strong as hell. You even have people saying it could have been something paranormal. A lot of other people were saying that they might have been running a test to see exactly how people would react and respond if something like this happened. I guess they got their answers. Whatever it is, it's dangerous. You see that a whole village fell asleep for 7 days. If whatever chemical or whatever they did was unleashed fully, they might not have woken up.
Here's some of the creepiest ads that have ever aired. This ad was aired on August 1st, 2012, and was meant to spread awareness of the company Little Baby's Ice Cream, but it ended up spreading fear instead. If the visuals of the supposed ice cream man eating itself isn't enough to disturb you, the raspy voice of the narrator will.
I eat Little Baby's ice cream. It keeps me young. It keeps me light on my feet.
Throughout this ad, the narrator tells you all the good things that will happen to you if you eat their ice cream. And the narrator finishes it off with their disturbing slogan,
Ice cream is a feeling.
That ain't no damn ice cream.
Pilates is demonic. Pilates was created in the 1920s by Joseph Pilates. He was a sickly man who healed his body through exercise. He taught his first method in New York City in 1926. On the surface, it seemed innocent, but there's actually a little more that you might not know. 4 years after starting Pilates, Joseph actually joined the Freemasons in 1930. The Freemasons are a secret brotherhood that's been whispered about for centuries. It's said to quietly pull the strings of everyone powerful behind the scenes. While his exercise has nothing to do with the Freemasons specifically, his membership connects him to a society that some Christians view as spiritually concerning. It's not Pilates itself, but the history raises a lot of questions. Joseph had studied yoga, Zen Buddhism, and other Eastern disciplines. This shaped his method's focus on mindfulness, breathing, and mind and body connection. So the movements themselves are not inherently evil. That's not what I'm saying. But the philosophies behind them are what Christians are very concerned about. They consider your mind and your body to be connected. And so when you're practicing these movements that have been influenced by things outside of your faith, by like philosophies and ideas and ways of life that you aren't familiar with, they believe that this can have an influence on you, like because it came from like other sorts of spiritual origins. So let me know if you think Pilates is demonic, and follow for more.
What do you think, Seekers?
World War II, they did an insane amount of nuclear testing out of nukes. They used a lot of soldiers for experiments to like on ships like in the ocean. So they would be on a ship in the ocean and they would set off a nuke and they would say, okay, now cover your eyes with your hands. And they said with the brightness and radiation that these nukes put off, they said they could literally see their bones through their skin. And one guy said, talking to the interviewer, if the bomb were to blow up behind you, now staring at you, he said, I could see every bone in your body.
What kind of cancers do these men have today?
I don't know, they're all old dudes, so they're probably all like super young.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like literally holding a flashlight or something kind of similar, but just fully
But he said you do
transparent.
this and you would see your bones in your hands.
Tan line would go crazy.
Just
Think of like nuclear testing videos. We have a ton from like the 1900s. Why don't we
have any new footage? Because I think we don't really test them all that much. I think something was passed where you're not allowed to necessarily set them off.
You have to test what you're building or testing.
Maybe you can test the components?
Yeah.
So just imagine
Scary.
you face a tea with ratatouille marinade in it. This has to be on a whole different level of diabolicalism. How did Lil Squeaky even fit inside of the can to begin with? And it's like we can't go to the grocery store, we can't trust fast food, because shit like this keep happening. Because at that point, you either have to sue them or call up your YNs and go bump down on the headquarters. And you can tell by the tea that the rat enhanced the flavor. Went from a sweet tea to a Master Seafood tea. Yeah, like the Ninja Turtles' daddy. And I just know that she knew that it tasted extra squeaky. And what makes this worse is this ain't the first time Lil Ratatouille has been found inside of a can. They even popping up in people's energy drink. You think you quench your thirst, instead you gulp a bunch of rat sweat? To me, that's a reasonable crash out. But I'm curious, y'all let me know what y'all would have did if y'all found a little squeaker inside of your drink in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. And remember, if you want to learn how you can turn your social media into printing you money just by posting videos, comment down below ATL. I'm sending it.
Be careful what you drink.
Oh, I didn't. But someone told me about it.
So he had like a witch on stream, and he went to go visit her place, and they were doing a whole bunch of rituals and stuff. And he started getting really sketched out, kind of scared. The theory was that people were saying that he felt as if she was taking something from him. Oh, yeah, like spiritually, and it was affecting him in that moment. So what happened was they were in the middle of something, and then he started feeling something off.
Like, I need this thing for my stream. I'll be right back, okay?
And he looks at the camera, he goes, pause, or mute, and then just walks away, and then just leave.
Mute.
They don't even say bye to the lady, nothing like that. Just get out of there. Because people are saying that she was trying to curse him or do some rituals that he felt were really, really wrong to him.
This robot is the first humanoid that never needs to stop working because it changes its own batteries autonomously. UB Tech Walker S2 weighs 95 pounds and can detect when its battery is running low, walk to a charging station, and swap its own battery pack in under 3 minutes without any human help. The robot uses both arms to remove the depleted battery from its upper back, place it in the charging dock, grab a fresh battery, and install it perfectly while continuing to operate on its backup power. This breakthrough eliminates the last major bottleneck requiring human intervention in robotic operations, enabling true 24/7 autonomous factory work without any downtime or human oversight. Chinese robotics companies are now competing directly with Tesla, Boston Dynamics, and other American firms by deploying robots that can maintain themselves indefinitely in industrial environments. Factories could operate completely autonomously with robots that work continuously, never get tired, never make mistakes, and never need human assistance. Walker S2 is already being tested in real factory environments where it performs complex tasks while managing its own power needs like a completely self-sufficient worker. This represents the transition from robots as tools that humans operate to robots as autonomous workers that manage themselves and their own operational requirements. When robots can work 24/7 without any human intervention whatsoever, what happens to the millions of factory and warehouse jobs that still require people?
The girl that was found decomposing in the front trunk of David's Tesla has finally been identified, and based on all the new details we just got, it seems that this is not going to end well for David. So for context, this girl's name is Celeste, and she was found in the front trunk of David's Tesla, and it turns out that Celeste was 15 years old. And this is where it makes me even more sicker to my stomach, because the remains that were found of Celeste were initially so unidentifiable. This is where it gets even more worse for her, because Celeste has been missing since April of 2024. Her Celeste moms just told TMZ that her daughter had been dating a boyfriend named David and had mentioned getting a tattoo with him. As the tattoo that Celeste had on her finger was a tattoo that said shh, which is a tattoo that David also has. A reminder that David is 20 and Celeste is 15, and this is where it gets even more insaner, as seemingly David didn't even have this shish tattoo until a year ago. And remember, the night that the body was found in David's front, David went on stage in Minneapolis and seemingly did not directly address this, as he has allegedly been cooperative. And remember, this is all alleged and nothing has been confirmed yet. A lot of people are saying that after a 15-year-old with a matching tattoo of you found in your car is not a good look.
It's not.
See, Chris, what do you guys think about the David situation, bro? That's crazy. It's a whole lot of information came out yesterday, man, and it wasn't looking good, bro. Can't believe Jason Wayne did a song with them, man. I mean, nobody knew, but that's just crazy.
As you might think. For years, Disney's been accused of hiding adult subliminal jokes in their movies. This one, boys, is actually true. Actual Disney animators have admitted that they slip subtle jokes in for the parents when creating these movies, as they know the kids won't get it or understand it anyway, but it just actually makes it a little bit more enjoyable for the parents who are watching it. For instance, the priest in The Little Mermaid looking just a little bit too happy. And one of the craziest ones you probably haven't seen before, in Zootopia there's a Breaking Bad parodying reference. The sheep villains run a you-know-what lab, creating the blue stuff, and they're both named Walt and Jesse. So Disney do hide these things in their movie, but once you see them, you definitely can't unsee them. But this one most definitely is a truth.
Jersey just legalized compost made of human remains. So within the next 10 months in New Jersey, you'll be able to turn a loved one that passed away into compost. Now apparently this whole human to compost process takes about 45 days to complete, and it, quote, gently turns the body into nutrient-rich soil. Now this is achieved by placing a human into a vessel filled with organic materials, which is then sealed and attached to an HVAC system. Well, even though this all is new to New Jersey, it is not new to the US itself, as back in 2019, Washington became the first state to legalize this whole human composting process, and since then, a couple of other states like New York and now New Jersey have also followed suit. Now, after the process is done, you can decide if you want a little bit of the compost to spread sort of similar to ashes, or if you want a lot so you can, like, plant a plant with it. Note to self, remind me not to eat any crops from New Jersey or New York. But the whole reason this exists is to sort of be an alternative to cemeteries, since a lot of them are getting overcrowded. New Jersey is the 14th state to legalize this practice since it started all the way back in 2019.
When I was a child, I loved playing the Mario Brothers, but now that I'm older, I understand why I love playing this video game. I used to think it was all fun and games, but now I'm more mature, I understand they was laughing at us. Once you start studying spirituality, you will understand that the goddess Sophia created everything. The name Sophia means wisdom. When you play the Mario Brothers, you see Princess Toadstool. She represents Sophia, the goddess. King Koopa is the one that stole the goddess. King Koopa represents the Dracolians or the Reptilians. There's a lot of conspiracies that's going around saying that alien reptilians control this world. Well, King Koopa represents reptilians, and the politicians may be reptilians. In order to save the princess or the goddess, you have to beat 8 castles. The 8 castles is connected to the 8 phases of the moon. King Koopa or the reptilian had 7 children. He made 8. The 8 phases of the moon represents the 8 castles. Reptiles is known to be cold-blooded creatures. The moon is known to be ice cold because the reptilians live there. When you play this game, you can take mushrooms and it make you stronger. In our reality, you take magic mushrooms and it tap you into the spiritual world. When you turn the game on, you start at world 1 with 5 lives. 5 lives represents reincarnation. You only have 5 chances to get it right. This video is about to get a little dark. Stay with me. If you ever play this video game, you notice every time Mario go down the pipe, he is going to a different world. That world represents different dimensions. If you want to travel to different realities.
So this is what they mean by New York not being a real place, because not only do you have cars dropping into massive sinkholes, but New York also experienced some type of crazy hailstorm yesterday as well too, y'all. Look at this, y'all. That's crazy. Right after the car fell into that pothole, New York was like, here, let me fill that pothole with some ice. And look at this, y'all. The heavy wind, rain, and ice was really coming down at one point in time. Look at this deck over here, y'all. It looked like little salt pebbles, doesn't it? Right? The earth is being salted right now, man. The season is here. That's crazy. It seems that New York is definitely doing its part out in the Matrix. This hailstorm caused some significant damage to some cars. New York has also been getting tornado warnings. This wasn't a tornado that would knock down the tree, but this hailstorm was accompanied with heavy winds, and it was knocking down trees onto the ground. Ice is everywhere, y'all. I told y'all, man. Ice is in the form of government, and, you know, this over here, that ice is working overtime all over the planet, y'all. In the form of government, you know, hot as hell, you know, and then you get ice as hell. Ice as hell as well, too. Vanilla ice, baby. The shit is here. Let's get it. Peace out.
Okay.
Remove their 4 lower front teeth and cut a hole in their bottom lip. Then they put in a plug to stretch their lips until they can insert a full-sized lip plate. This can take many months to do, but the lip plates are symbols of beauty and identity, and they're often worn by unmarried women in hopes of seeming more feminine and finding a rich husband. These plates are changed regularly and each time increasing in size, and this tradition has existed for over 10,000 years. Follow if you want to see more.
That's insane to think about.
Run, rabbit, rock, rabbit, run, run, run.
Austria.
The most disgusting things actors had to do for a role.
Okay.
Do you guys remember this scene in Harry Potter when all the kids gathered for a feast with all this delicious food? Well, every time they filmed the scene, they couldn't replace the food, so it started to rot and smell terrible. And the actors said it got so bad they could smell the stench before even walking on set. In Game of Thrones, Castle Black looked super disgusting on screen and was just as disgusting in real life. The set decorators hung raw meat from the ceilings, had real pigs wandering around, and didn't clean up for weeks at a time, which made the actors have an easy time pretending to be miserable and cold because it actually was. For the Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence took acting to the extreme and actually ate a raw fish in order to get into the skin of her character. She said the crew told her it would taste like sushi. Hint, it did not. She said it tasted as bad as it smells and that she's never doing that again.
They lie, bro.
Let's see if you have thalassophobia, part 3. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have thalassophobia. Number 1. How about this? Feeling uncomfortable yet?
Still good.
Nearly there. Last one. Hit follow to see if you can make it to the next phobia test.
I made it all the way to the end. I don't think I have that phobia. They're all getting freaking extinct but then reintroduced.
Your brain's storage capacity is around 2.5 million gigabytes. Smell is the sense most closely linked to memory. Your short-term memory can only handle about 7 thoughts at once. You forget 50% of new information within an hour. And this fact really annoyed me, so I tried to come up with a solution and stumbled across Plurk. It's an AI-based device that can transcribe any audio recording to text in seconds. Luckily, it's simple, so when I need to remember something, I just start with the one-press voice recording on the Plurk device. And once complete, I just click transcribe. And boom, it's done. I have the whole transcription ready for use, and it's perfect. Or I can just select to create a summary and choose the style I'm looking for. For example, to find the most important points in a long meeting or create an audio report of that file. So I'm never going to forget something important ever again as long as I have this device with me. You can get it to link in bio.
Learn some new info. For that kind of makes sense about the short-term memory because I know I'll be forgetting stuff that I know I'm supposed to know. It always gets to me, man.
This is the Devil's Castle, and it's one of the scariest places on Earth. It's located in a small town in Mexico. Its actual name is Castillo del Diablo, and it was built by a painting contractor named Tony Wells. He spent almost $4 million on the castle, and it's become a worldwide attraction. In the castle, you can find coffins, creepy mannequins, and gargoyles. Wells has a collection of over 800 swords and knives, and about 350 beautiful antique mirrors. Often, Satan worshippers leave him presents, even though Tony does not believe in Satan. Would you dare spend a night in this place?
That's a hell no. I'm new. I stay away from that type of energy, man. But he actually pulled $4 million into that. That's a lot of money, bro. Just to build something like that. That's we stay away from that energy, seekers.
Crazy things happening in the world right now. New York City is now giving rats birth control to stop them from reproducing. This restaurant sued this customer for leaving a 3,000 $1,000 tip for his waitress. Pablo Escobar's abandoned hippos are still causing problems in the Colombian jungle. A motel in Kentucky was ordered to pay $2 million after one of their guests passed away in a 150-degree shower. Karen was the most popular baby name 60 years ago, and now it is nearly extinct. Florida police are telling people to stop taking selfies with a depressed black bear. EasyJet is apologizing after leaving 3 passengers with disabilities on the runway. A Japanese political candidate was stripping on national TV and asking viewers if they thought she was sexy. A game developer was demanding naked sauna sessions with his employees. 5 fishermen in Sri Lanka passed away after drinking water from a bottle they found in the ocean.
These are the scariest
I'm supposed to do that.
in each state, part 1. Up first is Nanny Doss from Alabama, also known as the Giggling Granny. She married 5 times and murdered 4 of her husbands, and the only one that survived was her first husband. She also poisoned 11 of her family members. Her first 2 victims were her children, who allegedly died from food poisoning. She got the nickname the Giggling Granny because she would always laugh at the crimes she committed. She killed 11 people and is definitely the scariest serial killer from Alabama.
She was laughing? No remorse, man. Watch out for those type of people.
This is the world's first passenger plane that doesn't have a pilot because it's being flown by AI. What could go wrong? The concept was revealed at the National Business Aviation Association event in Orlando, Florida. And the idea is to create a fully autonomous passenger jet that has similar benefits to self-driving cars. They believe AI could reduce human error, which is the leading cause of accidents, making air travel safer than ever. Because there would be no need for pilots, it could reduce costs, it could improve efficiency and reduce delays because planes could fly 24/7 without needing to rest for crew. And more personalized, on-demand flight options could emerge, like Uber for the skies. But then again, you would have to put your complete trust in AI 40,000 feet in the sky. So the question is, should this be made or scrapped immediately? Here are 3 options.
I'm gonna go with scrap, bro, because with AI, like, you never know. Somebody could hack and take over that plane, or it can glitch, man. You know, AI is still not perfect, man. And you putting your life at the hands of technology, 40,000, like I said, feet in the air, that's no, man. They need to scrap that.
Optical illusions, which I guarantee will make your brain hurt. First one, make that your phone background, I dare you. Wait, I've got another one for you. Second one, that makes me feel a bit sick. Let's see the last one. Now go and give your eyes a rest.
Were they moving for you guys? They wasn't moving for me though, so. But I know those are probably some crazy optical illusions. Let's edit, man. We call them out. Like I said, if you guys see any edits, I need you guys to help me. Call them out too.
This woman did you-know-what with 919 men in one single day. Lisa Sparks set this record back in 2004 at the annual World Championships in Poland. She was competing against 2 other women, one of which was the current record holder who did you-know-what with 759 people in one day.
What the?
But the craziest part is Lisa set this record in only 12 hours, meaning she only spent 45 seconds with each man.
No! How is something like that even possible? She beat it in 12 hours. What happened to Shane, bro? That's insane. He's actually a world record for that? I'm scared to even look up who has the current record, bro. I don't think I want to know.
Interesting people you've never heard of. This man from Australia survived a wildfire by scuba diving in his pool while the wildfire was burning all around him. This man in his 40s fathered somewhere between 550 to 600 children. Because of this, he was court-ordered to stop donating his sperm. This man has fathered over 100 kids but has not been paid for it and even pays child support for some of them. A man in Louisiana who was pulled over by a police officer for drunkenly riding on a horse gave the excuse that the horse knows the way home. The sheriff ended up not giving him a DUI.
This Englishman bought this island 60 years ago, moved to it, and never returned. This is what he looks like now, after planting over 16,000 trees, attracting a bunch of different species of animals, and even making it a national park. This guy holds the world record for reciting pi to 22,514 digits in just under 5 hours, and he knows 11 languages.
Damn, he Jimmy Neutron.
Water slide in the whole world. This is known as the Leap of Faith. It's one of the most beautiful constructed slides in the entire world. But despite its beauty, it's actually known to be one of the most dangerous water slides. This slide consists of a 60-foot drop and was created back in 1998. But if that's not scary enough, it actually gets crazier. After the 60-foot drop, the riders are then sent through a lagoon of sharks. They're kept inside of the tube while the sharks are swimming around them.
He was 2 years old when he survived 4th-degree burns.
The candle fell. The fire spread quick and then into a blanket. And then it all caught on fire.
Zaid Garcia was only a toddler when his mother put him to bed and a candle fell on his blankets, causing his entire bed to set on fire. He was rushed from Mexico to San Antonio for treatment, where he had multiple surgeries, and doctors thought that he wasn't going to make it, but he did. 80% of Zaid's body was burnt, and he lost both of his hands and 5 toes. His eyes were also severely burnt, so doctors covered his eyes with his skin so it can help them heal. Zaid said that he's able to only see shadows and light, but hopes to regain his vision one day and remove the skin from his eyes. He's now 19 years old, and his story is a miracle since most people don't survive 3rd-degree burns. But what shocks me the most is, despite everything Zaid has been through, he's still so positive and optimistic.
When you share your story with somebody, how do you hope they react?
Well, I know it'll make them sad, but I hope that it gets to their heart, and I hope it gives them hope and faith on themselves too. I know they might feel bad for me and everything, but I hope they think, well, if he did it, I could do it too.
Deadliest computer viruses in the world, part 3. This is the infamous Escape virus. You'll see exactly why it's called that. So we're going to open it up here and then click run, and then run again. Allow this publisher to make changes, yes. This malware is no joke. Continue. Hell yeah. Alright, now let me show you what happens. First thing, the computer restarts itself. A classic virus move. Boots back up and we have stage 1. Background and theme change to this red looking vibe. Stage 2, Windows loads with a bunch of spam user accounts, all with a bunch of weird characters, each password protected. And the main admin account is called No Escape. At this point, most keys on your keyboard would be disabled. Stage 3, admin password is set to death, all lowercase, so we punch that in to log on. Stage 4, all files on your computer are deleted and your desktop is filled with these junk files, all with those same strange characters. Stage 5, your mouse buttons are swapped, so left click is right and right is left. If you open up any of these files in Notepad, it just says this: your computer is mine. You cannot get rid of this malware. Stage 6, you can't really do anything with your computer anymore, and on September 18th, it will delete the Windows bootloader, meaning that you can't even turn it on. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in trying this out, and I'll send you that download link.
Who wants to fry their computer intentionally? That's a hell no for me. You gotta be careful with those links you click on, man. They be trying to get you. So far, thankfully, I've avoided all of those.
You will not believe how this woman stalker found her. In 2019, police in Tokyo arrested a 26-year-old man by the name of Fubiki Sato, who was suspected of following home a young female pop star, and whom he later moved on to assault and molest as she was walking into her apartment complex. But how did he find out exactly where she was? Well, that's the scary part. It was said that Sato screenshotted one of the girl's social media posts in which he zoomed into her eyes, and in her eyes you could see the reflection of a very famous landmark, and that's how he found her location. He then proceeded to use Google Street View, where he would find the exact coordinates of the landmark that was reflected in the girl's eye. This is when he would move on to this location and commit the horrific acts on this young woman. So guys, this is why it's very important to be careful about what you post on social media, because he found her through a reflection in her eyes. Who's to say it couldn't happen to you?
Top 4 most
Be careful what you
horrifying
post.
places in the ocean. 1. Hot Tub of Despair, Gulf of Mexico. This is 3,300 feet below the surface of the ocean. It is a very real, very deadly version of Goo Lagoon, where it killed Mr. Krabs and most of the fish in that show as well, because this is a really toxic mix of super salty water, methane, and hydrogen sulfide that basically kills any sort of organism that goes near it. 2 is Sirena Deep. This is the 3rd deepest part of our ocean, and it's absolutely horrifying for a lot of reasons. First of all, we have no clue what lives down there, but basically it looks something like this, completely dark and devoid of life with crushing pressure and freezing cold water, and it's really scary and empty and dark. 3. The East Siberian Sea. It's basically filled with ticking time bombs of giant methane pockets that may or may not explode in the near future because of global warming, the fact they're under a bunch of ice, and when they do explode, it'll release a lot of damaging, chemicals, and it also will make the water around them boil and probably kill anything that's in that water with it. 4. The Ring of Fire, or the outline of the entire Pacific Ocean. This is a very large area of seismic and volcanic activity. Among other things, this is also where the largest mountains and volcanoes are on our planet, which is kind of horrifying.
Gotta take care of our planet, bro, or it's gonna erupt.
This woman shocked everyone at this carnival game because in order to win, you have to hang on to the bar for 2 minutes, which doesn't seem like a long time. But if you've ever tried this, you'll understand just how difficult this simple task is. But what the employees didn't know is that she's actually a rock climber, so this wouldn't even be a challenge for her. And as the time winded down, with no signs of struggle to be seen, she eventually got down to the final seconds, now with a small crowd forming in order to witness what would happen. And just watch what she does when the timer ends.
What the heck? That is hard. That's impressive. Could you guys do a Seekers? 2 minutes?
Do you think you could beat this game?
Whatever it was that really happened in the Hotel President was one of the most disturbing mysteries in American history. This is January 2nd, 1935, when the Hotel President in Kansas City, Missouri got a very strange visitor. This very unusual young man who checked in under the name of Roland T. Owen. He was eventually going to be placed in room 1046, and over a period of days, the maid staff just kind of routinely entered the room because it was always dark in there, so they assumed nobody was in there. Every time they walked in, what they would actually find was Roland T. Owen sitting on the bed in a suit in complete darkness, doing nothing. The most disturbing of all was really what took place on January 4th. Hotel staff had entered the room because of a disconnected phone line, and when they got in there, Roland T. Owen was found on the ground, covered in blood, and he had been stabbed multiple times. And just before he died, they asked him, who did this to you? Which he just said, no one. Even more bizarre, an anonymous caller who was allegedly a woman called in and paid for his entire funeral. If you do want more to the story, I would go check it out right on the show.
Yeah, we gotta check that out, man. Like, what the hell? It sounds like a very deep mystery, man. Need to find that.
Breaking news, Bella Brave has been put into a medically induced coma, and they do not believe she is going to make it. Many of you may recognize her from being a star on this app. You may also know her as Bella Brave. Now, as of July 10th, her mother has posted that she has been medically induced in a coma. She said, quote, "They've told us they don't know if she'll survive this. I know she will. I know she has an army praying for her." Her mother shared that Bella had developed an infection in her lungs and also may have developed a form of bronchitis. Doctors say the type of bronchitis that she developed is, quote, "irreversible and a chronic condition." It is also known as popcorn lung. On July 9th, her mother posted that although Bella was, quote, "sitting up," she began to struggle. She went on to say, quote, "She lost 4 pounds in 1 day, putting all her energy into breathing. Her CO2 started to increase, and she started to doze off and have delirium. She was alert enough to tell me she turned into a piece of bread, and she also knew that she was at the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto." She continued by saying they knew at that point they needed to sedate her and intubate her before she crashed. "We left having them tell us they didn't know if she'll make it through the night, but she did." However, the following day, her mother said that she was placed into a medically induced coma. "The best of the best were telling us it looked really bad. But I kept lifted stare, intensely listening until I heard what hope there was left that we could hang on to." She has also shared that Bella was put on a large dose of steroids. She said this is the one option they have left to help her lungs work again. Day 3 will give us more information on how soon we could see her lung function improve. She's stable, and that in itself is an improvement from now. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. Prayers for Bella, and I'll keep you guys updated. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments.
Prayers, man.
Scary Christmas Urban Legends, Part 1.
Hopefully you're not eating right now, because this one's gonna make you lose your appetite. So this is mincemeat pie. Apparently people actually like this and like to eat it during Christmas time. Legend goes that it was created in the 16th century as a way for humans to cook and eat other humans. You heard me correctly, humans were added to this dish. And apparently this rumor or legend is why mincemeat pies no longer have meat in them. At least most don't anymore. Mmm, delicious. Like and follow for more weird shit like this.
I've never had that before.
You see the world. This is a prediction of what the world is going to look like 250 million years from now. These are the CO2 emissions across the Indian subcontinent, with the lightest, whitest areas being the highest. This map shows all of the foreign military presence that is sitting in Africa right now. This map shows the most valuable Italian brands and where exactly they came from. If you draw a straight line between the northernmost point and southernmost point in the contiguous United States, along with the westernmost point to the easternmost point, the lines do not intersect. This map shows what the size of the Great Lakes would look like if it was in Europe. This map shows which state you could find the highest percentage of people with ancestry from every European country. This map shows where every popular sitcom took place. Every red dot on this map is a football pitch or a soccer field if you're from the United States. This map shows that in 1990, most of the United States had 15% or less obese adults in their state, where less than 30 years later, now almost every state has more than 25% obesity rates.
That's a shame.
Following, you know, Morgan was abducted from the Alma Little League Park in a 2 to 3 minute window. She was a bit shy compared to the other kids, and so she'd just been sitting with her mom along the first baseline to watch the game. But apparently she was so excited when 2 kids came over and asked her if she wanted to go catch fireflies. She repeatedly asked her mom, and so Colleen gave in, even though it was getting dark. But she had no idea Billy Jack Lynx was also there, and allegedly parked right next to their car. Moreover, she says that when she saw her daughter for the last time, she was running up this hill and past the fences to that exact same parking area. Now, when the game ended that night around 10:30, all of the other kids came running back down to the field, but Morgan wasn't with them. Immediately, Colleen asked them where she had gone off to, and they told her that she had just sat down for a second to get the sand out of her shoes. So Colleen went up there and started looking around, but she couldn't find her anywhere. And by 11 p.m. that night, everyone was searching the ballpark, and eventually officers decided to take the area off as a crime scene. It turns out the kids who were with Morgan that night had seen something worth mentioning. There was a man with a scruffy beard who had come up to them. They couldn't quite place it, but something about him and his red truck just didn't fit. Now with this, police asked everyone to send in their home footage from the games that night, and they found a truck that matched the one the kids were talking about. Nothing immediately came from this new lead, but then about 2 months later, there was another attempted abduction. It was determined that Billy Jack Lynx had tried to take an 11-year-old girl from a local Sonic, and he was driving what appeared to be the exact same truck. Now that same year, 95, the connection here was made, and Lynx was interviewed about Morgan's disappearance. His car was also sent on for testing, and they even found human blood, but from what I can tell, all of the initial evidence in this case was lost. Then in 2019, a new team finally came in to take over this case, and it was so disappointing because they could have had the technology now to match that blood to Morgan. So they started over trying to track down this truck 25 years later, and somehow after several different owners, they had found it. In 2020, investigators, quote, vacuumed various locations of the truck, and now they say they have a blonde hair that has to match Morgan or someone in her family. They also say the strongly suggests that Morgan was in Billy's vehicle the night she disappeared, and while he died in 2000, they also have an idea of where he took her after the abduction. They focused in on an area about 10 minutes away that's down by the river, where a group of kids actually saw his truck later that night, and what appeared to be a man holding someone down in the front seat. Tragically, it is believed that Morgan may have been taken with the floodwater that year. Today, she still remains missing. Investigators are trying to figure out everything they can about Billy's life, likely to see if he has any more victims.
The box is truly haunting. On February 25th, 1957, authorities received a call of a mysterious box in the woods outside of Philadelphia. They were horrified to find the remains of a young boy who seemed to be about 4 to 6 years old. He was malnourished and covered in bruises, and his cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma to the head. Not only is his case a mystery to this day, his identity has still never been found.
That's weird. even with today's technology.
This is considered one of the most shocking cases in Polish history. On January 6, 1999, a sailor in Poland noticed something strange floating on the river. It was long and pale and it smelled very bad. And as he leaned in closer to get a better look, he saw an ear attached to it. Now, what I'm about to say next is very disturbing, so be warned. After the sailor found this substance, DNA testing then indicated it was the skin of a missing woman named Katarzyna Zawada. And whoever did this to her turned her skin into a suit and was likely wearing it. So at this point, only her skin was found. Until January 14th, when pieces of her clothing and one leg was found also in the river. 17 years later, 52-year-old Robert J. was arrested for this. He previously worked in a dissection lab, meaning he was skilled in preparing animal skin. And he allegedly also knew the victim. As of October 2022, 23 years since the victim was found, Robert J. is still awaiting trial. As he remains in custody, investigators are allegedly gathering more evidence to solve the case. Follow for more.
So he's wearing a human skin suit. He skinned her alive and he was wearing her suit like a shapeshifter or something like that. Something you had out of a horror movie. Think about that, man. That's gonna rattle in your head for a while.
This is Charles Manson. He was the leader of the infamous commune/cult known as the Manson family. After spending his youth in and out of reform schools, Manson's first prison sentence came in 1956. He spent the next 11 years in and out of prison. In 1967 he was released from prison again and made his way to San Francisco. He became a sort of spiritual guru, with him and his followers, typically young women, being known as the Manson family. They created a home at Spahn Ranch in 1968. In July 1969, Gary Hinman was killed by the family. In August 1969, Sharon Tate, girlfriend of director Roman Polanski, was killed by the family. She was 8 months pregnant. The family also killed Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, Wojtek Frykowski, Stephen Parent, Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, and Donald Shea. The murders were allegedly on the back of Manson's orders. There's so much more to this story and its background, so let me know if you'd like a part 2.
Yeah, the freaking cult doing all that for him, man. Manipulations.
One bone-chilling night in 1973, the two young McDaniel children claimed to see a creature lurking around their house. This isn't my typical true crime case, however, this story is too freaky not to talk about. The father actually didn't believe his children until one night when he heard something scratching at the side of their house. When shining the flashlight, it showed a human-like creature. Mr. McDaniel actually claimed it had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. His story freaked the town out so much that police actually threatened that if he didn't stop talking about this creature, they would arrest him. By the time all of this was over, 5 men actually had been arrested because they fired shots into the air when they thought that they saw the creature.
They're gonna arrest him for telling a story? That doesn't make sense at all.
This woman literally chopped her baby's arms off with a kitchen knife, all because God told her to. Dina and John Schlosser lived in Plano, Texas with their 3 daughters, ages 9, 6, and 10 months old. On November 22nd, 2004, John got a call from Dina saying she'd just cut off their baby's arms. He thought she was joking, even though Dina had a history of mental illness. Regardless, when you hear a claim like that, it should be taken seriously. Instead of calling the police, John called the pastor of his church. The pastor told John to call someone who can check on Dina and their baby Margaret to make sure everything is okay. He then called his neighbor Carolyn, who worked at a daycare center in the area, and asked for them to check on Dina and Margaret. Carolyn called Margaret on the phone, and that's when things started to get real. It's unclear what the phone call entailed, but whatever it was, it led a fellow daycare employee to call the police. 911 dispatcher Steve Edwards then called Dina to see if everything was okay. Dina picked up the phone and calmly told Steve she just cut off her baby's arms. Steve asked Dina if she wanted to help her baby, and she smugly said no. As if this woman didn't already seem crazy enough, Steve said he heard church hymns playing in the background. Like, what is this woman's deal? With that, police officers and paramedics rushed to the scene. Officer David Tilley was the first to arrive. He found Dina covered in red fluid with a gash on her shoulder and a 9-inch kitchen blade in her hand. One report said she was sitting at her computer table, casually reading her Bible with the gospel song "He Touched Me" playing in the background. Oh my god, this is like straight out of a horror movie. David was able to convince Dina to hand him the blade, and when she did, he noticed pieces of flesh on it. Ugh, I bet his stomach was in knots. More officers showed up, and they found the almost 11-month-old baby Margaret in her crib in the back bedroom. Sadly, the claims were true. Margaret's arms had indeed been cut off, and she was losing fluid quickly. Margaret was rushed to the hospital while officers interviewed Dina. Dina showed absolutely no emotion during her interview. She admitted to cutting off her baby's arms with a dazed look in her eyes. Apparently, Dina saw this story on the news about a lion attacking a young boy and took it as a sign of the apocalypse. God then commanded her to cut off the arms of her baby, and she obeyed. Dina also said God told her to cut her arms off after that, which is why she had the wound on her shoulder. During her interview, Dina was praying. She said, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord." She was also humming church hymns. It's so messed up. As for Margaret, it was too late to save her. Not only were both of her arms completely severed at the shoulder, but Margaret also had over 50 wounds on her face.
That's somewhat of a horror story, man.
These serial killers got caught because of stupid mistakes they made. And I cover all sorts of true crime and spooky stuff here, so make sure you follow along. Dennis Rader was a prolific serial killer in Kansas from 1974 to 1991. He was called BTK, which stood for Bind, Torture, Kill, because that's what he liked to do. But he also liked to taunt the police. He would send the police letters signed BTK, which could not be traced back to his real identity. So in the early 2000s, he had been dormant for over 10 years, but he still liked to taunt the police. And the early 2000s also brought new technology for communicating. So BTK, being the mad genius he was, wrote a letter to police asking if he sent them a floppy disk, would they be able to trace it back to him? And the police answered this letter basically saying, no, we totally can't do that. So BTK sends the police a floppy disk, and there's metadata on this floppy disk that says the last edit was done by someone named Dennis at Christ Lutheran Church. And then a 10-second Google search showed police that Dennis Rader was the president of the council at Christ Lutheran Church. Afterwards, the police basically came out and said that if Dennis had just kept his mouth shut and kept murdering, they probably would have never caught him. Let me know if you want more of these, because there's some other idiots out there.
He was doing it for 10 years. New technology gets introduced. He tried to taunt them again, man. I never got that concept. You do like something that horrific, and then you just want to taunt people for it. They basically lied, kept saying, "No, we can't track you," knowing that they could, and that led to his downfall. Hubris. I wonder how many other freaking people got caught because of that. Got too
I wanted
confident.
to kill my mother since I was 8 years old, and I'm not proud of that. A month later, I'm up living with my grandparents in the mountains, and 10 months later, I murdered them. It made it worse to be on top of a mountain. I was literally on top of a mountain when it happened. And I sensed everybody in the world just stopping what they were doing, turning around, saw what I did, and are coming to get me. And I knew I was paranoid at that moment. I knew anybody that came up there and gave me a funny look or a fishy eye or quizzical look, I'd have blown their brains out thinking they were coming to get me. And if it had been in a city, I would have been a mass murderer at age 15. I would have killed until they gunned me down. I wouldn't have been able to reason my way out of it. I was scared to death, and I was violent. I felt my back hit that wall. I was the rabbit that always ran, that always backed away, always burned his bridges. Suddenly there weren't any more, and my back hit that wall, and I came out screaming and kicking and shooting.
That was pretty dark.
Now, a lot of people have been tagging me in this video, so I'm here to explain the backstory to this whole thing. This is the case of Lauren McCluskey. Now, the girl you see in this video was a 21-year-old college student in Utah. On October 22nd, 2018 at 9:55 p.m., she was found dead in her dormitory. She was shot 7 times. That afternoon, her ex-boyfriend waited for her outside her dormitory for had scholarships to choose from. Like and follow for more.
So what happened? Was it... That's not horrifying. population mountains.
The woman was not dead. Miraculously, she survived just unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with a hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
Carla Nash. To go on to that story. Says she doesn't want to scare people. What happened? Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. You guys, make sure you comment on the video down below. Hit that post notification bell, man, to always get notified when I upload my next video. You guys are going to catch you in the next video, Seekers. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.